Hello all, I'm Gina Scrofano and welcome to my YouTube channel. I create builds and characters inspired by specific themes and share fun facts and info about those themes while I do it with some extras on the side. And today is going to be one of those extras on the side, as a matter of fact, because we are going to take a look at the free Buyers 2.0 update for House Flipper 2. Okay, so I thought what we would do is go ahead and look at the announcement that Frozen District posted on May 21st, the date that this came out, which I did start recording this video on, but then because crazy life happened, of course, I had to stop recording. But I am back at it, people, and I'm going to finish recording this today. Knock on wood. So anyways, this came out on May 21st. Frozen District made this announcement. So we're going to take a look at the announcement and try to go step by step and then go in game and look at what they're actually referring to and see how it all turned out. So I'm going to go ahead and take a peek at Steam here. So on their announcement, it said at the same time, meaning at the same time as the DLC pack, the free Buyers 2.0 update is here! Exclamation. We're substantially expanding the Buyers system. I'll get into that in a minute. On top of that, we're also bringing you lots of gameplay improvements like the long-awaited empty lots for story mode, woot woot, tweaks to roofing mechanics, sounds good to me, motion blur quality of life features, which is great, and some extra items on top. All right, sounds good, except for the first thing that's on the list, of course, which is primarily what this update is for, is the buyer info. So they're saying quite a bit of this was inspired by the community. Now, I do know that the majority of vocal players for House Flipper 2, and by vocal, I mean those who post on social media, but particularly those who responded to their survey that they sent out, as well as the Canny.io roadmap and feedback page. The majority of those players did want more buyer feedback and buyer involvement and details in the game. So it is with acknowledging that I admit that I have an unpopular opinion when it comes to this. I didn't necessarily want more buyer stuff in general in the game. I wanted it in a different way than they most likely implemented it here. And I think what I may do is have a future episode that encompasses all my thoughts about this, if anyone's even going to watch it. Because there's just so much that I'm thinking about and that I want to say about this, and I don't want to bore anyone with it right now, but I'm biting my tongue as I go over this. So Buyer 2.0, and just looking at what they posted here, it's saying Buyer 2.0, a complete rework of the original system. So right off the bat, I'm afraid. It says commenting on homes. So over 3,000 words were written for this update, which is impressive. I mean, and that was a lot of work. So hopefully that means that the buyers have a magnitude of realistic opinions and expectations. But I don't know how it's going to turn out. New way of counting profit, which allows for empty parcels in story mode. I don't know. I do not know what that means. Maybe somebody who's cooler than me, who knows what that means, can comment on that and just share with me what they're talking about. Buyer satisfaction has a big, in all caps, impact on the price. Winky face. Okay, so this is nerve-wracking as well. And just to give you a little preview of what my concerns are here. In House Flipper 1, which was a really fun and cool game, the buyer feedback to me was super duper annoying, particularly because it was very unrealistic and just ridiculous. Like you had these people who needed like 1,000 plants in their home, which yes, okay, people like plants, but typically when homes are being flipped, they're usually staged. And yes, you can stage it with plants and try to appeal to the majority of buyers in the neighborhood where you're flipping a home. But it was just ridiculous, the amount of plants and I think rugs that you had to put in the house to attract that particular buyer. And then there was a buyer who wanted to have, his man cave, because he's a man and he needs, his cave, which is fine. Don't get me wrong. I mean, look, I want a cool place where I can go chill out, maybe watch a movie, shoot some pool, relax and whatnot. Why not? Call it a man cave, call it a lady layer, call it whatever you want. I don't care. But all I'm saying is that in order to qualify and satisfy that requirement of having his man cave, you had to put one of two specific couches in that room to even satisfy the room requirement, to then hopefully satisfy that buyer and get a higher price for the home. And things like that really restrict you in flipping houses, particularly if, things are tagged a certain way that are very limiting like that in the game. If you have to satisfy your buyers by having one or two specific furniture items to satisfy a room requirement, I'm telling you right now, it's going to make the game, for me personally, just not even remotely as enjoyable, because I'm going to be flipping in unrealistic ways as opposed to what really makes sense in the real world. And I won't be able to use my creativity as much as I want to. So it's just not going to be as fun. But that's all I'm going to say about that for now. Mood boards for each buyer. I think that's super fun and really inspiring. But again, it's limiting in my perspective, because now you have to satisfy these mood boards for these buyers to be interested. And if you don't, then you're not going to get a good sale price for the home. So I don't want to be like a downer right off the jump with this, but I don't know. I'm a little afraid. New perks, including pinning buyers. So new perks, that must be, like the perk system that you have that allows you to have like better tools in the game. And it looks like there's something regarding buyers. You can buy information about especially elusive buyers. You can buy information about especially elusive buyers. So you can spend your money to get information on buyers. What is that? Like I'm hiring a PI? Maybe Tom will do it for me. My best bud, Tom. He can go do some spying on some buyers for me and get the information. Cool. Buyers look at many aspects. Okay. Environment, building size, the items inside, and even what tags the items have. Oh. Cozy and ornate, or futuristic and simple, ? See who shows up. Okay. So, see again, let's just say I'm doing a traditional, not even a traditional, let's just say I'm doing a transitional type of home where I have some traditional items and some modern items, and I'm doing a combination of the two. And that is my vision for a particular home that I'm flipping in the game. Am I going to be able to do that? Or do I have to use only items that are tagged as cozy, or only items that are tagged as ornate? According to Frozen District, I don't know. I mean, yes, they're looking at the environment. That's important. They're looking at the building size. But in my opinion, they should also be looking at the number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms, the value that you put into the home. Did you add a bonus room? Did you add a laundry room? And yes, certain rooms are more important to some buyers than others. But in the real world, if you're adding value, if you're adding an additional bedroom, if you're adding an additional bathroom, that increases value. So yes, looking at building size is important. And maybe these are just certain examples of what they've set this up to be. But we shall see. And then it says 3 new base game buyers, including Tom Marino, who will guide you through the process. Thanks, Tom. You're such a pal. Okay, so obviously I can't look at that right now because I'd really have to play with it and see how this all plays out. So we'll find out in the future how that rolls out, and I'll see, perhaps I'll do a specific episode regarding just that. And maybe it will turn into a crazy rant. Who knows? Maybe it will turn into something wonderful. Okay, so moving on. 4 new empty lots in story mode. Yay! I'm excited. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and switch to the game. So let's take a look. Oh, okay, so before I do that, here are the perks that they were referring to. Okay, so selling houses. These are the new perks. It says 1 at a time, please. Your name attracts attention. There are new bidders at your auctions. Ooh. So we can use that. Oh, look, I already can buy some of these. 1 at a time. Okay. And then silver tongue. Buyers give you more feedback. 8 comments instead of 6. Ooh. I don't even want feedback. Like, I just don't want to listen to them. Meanwhile, I'm like, I created a YouTube channel where everyone, if anyone, maybe like the one person who watches this might have a ton of feedback. So look, feedback is fine if it's realistic and it doesn't limit my gameplay. I think you know what I'm saying, but maybe you don't. Who knows? Honesty pays is the next perk, which says buyers are more keen to share negative feedback with you. I mean, okay, look, I'm into opposition research, okay, for many reasons in many ways, as a matter of fact. Okay, I mean, look, that is important. You do want to hear negative feedback, positive feedback, all the feedback, because it's all important. So if we're going to get feedback, we might as well get it all. Person of interest. You can pin buyers to your auction list for easier tracking. Okay. And then word of mouth, your reputation grows. Earn a bigger reputation bonus with each impressed buyer. Okay. Oh my goodness. See, this is so buyer based now, selling homes. So if they didn't set up these buyers or this buyer system well, we're in for some trouble. But if they set it up really good, then I'm going to try to be open-minded. We shall see. Okay, so let's go back, and I'm just going to go into here, and let's look at these 4 empty lots. I may not go to them right now because I'd have to buy them to go to them. So we have a building permit. There's a property in Pinnacle suburbs. It's 0.23 acres. Okay. Interesting. And then Crayfish Coast has a piece of the beach. This is also 0.23 acres. Okay. I mean, perfect for building a summer house, yes. And it does make sense that there would be smaller lots by the beach. But I mean, who's to say that I don't want to buy a luxury mansion and have a nice large lot on the beach? So, Okay, and then the forest area here. Okay, 0.92 acres. So now we're out in the forest. A big fenced off lot in the middle. And then this is this one here. Okay, I do like how they made it so you have to clear out the space first. Okay, and then the last one, Old Pinnacove, Neglected Square, 8.15 acres. I mean, it's in Old Pinnacle. It's like the city area. So it makes sense that the lot would be small. It's kind of cool because maybe it challenges you to build a townhouse style home where you have a more narrow house but with a lot of stories. It's not my favorite dream home style, but it is cool. It makes sense with the concept of it being in the city area. So I dig that. I dig that. That's cool. Okay, now let's take a look back and see what's next. So it's saying we have store improvements. That's exciting. What are the improvements of the store? So we have new items category. We have a rework of the search algorithm. Now door gives you door instead of outdoor trash bin. Okay. So it's basically easier to search. I mean, I don't mind if all items with the word door come up when I search door, but if someone wants it to be more specific, okay. The search suggestions now include new item series, companies, and categories. Okay, filters are visible in the store. Filters work with the search function. With the DLC filter, searching for door results in doors for the DLC on top. Oh, okay, cool. That is actually awesome. I very much love that. So you can filter the store based on the pack, and that I actually really love. So let's take a peek at these store improvements, shall we? Let's go back to the game and find out what we're looking at here. What am I looking at? What am I? Okay, so store. Okay, so here's the new items category. These are all the new items. So it's not showing the DLC because I specifically did not install or purchase the new DLC yet because I wanted to save that for when I record my episode about that. So new items category, new search algorithm. So door. Okay. Yep. Doors. See, now doorbell comes up. Probably because it starts with the word door. So maybe all items that start with the word door or are in fact a door. For instance, like the suspicious bookcase, that comes up when you search door, which makes sense because it's actually a door. What else can we search here? Something like basket, basketball, basket. Cool. Let me just go to the cabinets for a second. Oh, maybe. Oh, I can click. Could you always click on those? Maybe that's what they mean. You can click on hanging cabinet here and you can click on the brand here. Or I'm sorry, not the brand, the series. Ahaha. Enchanté. Okay, so here, maybe I don't remember. I don't know if I ever tried clicking on those in the past. But I mean, those, I know it did always say the brand name, the manufacturer rather. And it said what it was and it said what the series was. But maybe now you're able to click on them for an easy filter. But I remember being able to type in like just Brooks series. I mean, it didn't say series before, but I would type in the word Brooks and literally everything Brooks would come up. Oh, and so when it books. So wait, if I go to, so I just typed in Brooks and the cabinets came up, but so did a bunch of books. They're like, did you mistype books? It's kind of like when you're doing a search online and you misspell something and it's like, we're showing results for this and this. You idiot, you spelled it wrong. Let me help you. But let me go to Brooks series. And it just shows the Brooks series instead of like the books and all those other possible items that you might have potentially been looking for. So Brooks, just Brooks shows all the other potential items. But if you type in Brooks or any other series name for that matter and click on Brooks series, you'll only get those specific items. So that's a cool little feature. I mean, why not? It didn't really bother me that other stuff would come up unless it was like intertwined with the items that I was looking at. For instance, if like right in the middle of the cabinets there was a book, I'd be like, that's annoying. So, I mean, sure, that's cool. I appreciate it. Filters. Filters are visible in the store. So here are the categories. This is the new one. Filters. How do I use the filter? Tell me how. Oh, right here at the bottom. Filter and sort. Oh, yes, it is definitely more detailed now. Okay, so DLC. So if I click on Scooby-Doo and I hit accept, no items found, but that's because I'm on the new items. But here are, so it automatically came up with all of the new items for the Scooby-Doo pack, which includes doors, windows, and surface finishes, as well as accessories, the electronics, bathroom fixtures, beds, seating, appliances, cabinets. These are all Scooby-Doo specific because we have a filter set for Scooby-Doo, including hobby items like the plushies, etc., etc. Now, before we move on, and I almost didn't even want to do this, but when I was in the filters, I noticed a bunch of other categories. And let me clear this. It includes room, so you can look based on the rooms. So if you want to see all the living room stuff, dining room, etc. And then there's mood, details, value, style, and company. So you can look up by the brand name or manufacturer. And then miscellaneous, which shows your favorites and resizable items. But it's these, and these goes back to the buyer section. So this gives us an idea of how they went about doing this. So like, for instance, moods, like strict, cozy, neutral. What's a strict mood? Strict. Wait, what are my filters? Hold on, go back. What have I done? What have I done? Wait, clear the filters. No active filters. Strict. Accept. Okay, so these are strict items. So let's see, like, strict categories. Strict. So the Vanimo or however you pronounce that series, this is under strict, which okay. And there's no other cabinet series that are included in that. There's some random sideboards and what? Then seating. Let's look at seating because this will give us a better idea. Okay. I'm sorry. When I look at this sofa, it doesn't look strict to me. It looks very not strict. I mean, what is strict anyways? What does that even mean? They like bring in your like teacher from elementary school and she's like strict. She takes that like thing from the chalkboard pointer and like smashes it on the desk. This is strict. I don't understand what strict means. At first I thought maybe it was more like a traditional style. If you want to call that strict, I mean, but that's not what I'm seeing right now. I don't understand what strict means. Unless it means simplistic lines. So yeah, I'm not an expert. I am not an interior designer. I'm not an expert in that field. I'm just a person. But I don't believe, based on what I do know, that strict is actually a technical term. It's not technically terminology that you would use in interior design specifically. But from what I am aware of is that when you talk about strict in design, you can be saying something is strict to a specific design aesthetic. So the design of this home is strictly modern, or the design of that home is strictly retro, and there is no deviation from that design aesthetic. So when you look at it that way, then it doesn't really make any sense to create tags for specific individual items and call them falling under the mood strict, because it would have to be the combination of all the items or all the furniture pieces and design aesthetic that you have in that home to be considered strictly following that design aesthetic. But looking at this now, some of the items that I'm seeing, like the cabinetry, they do seem to follow clean, straight lines, I suppose you could say. No, not necessarily. I mean, this coffee table kind of has like wood lodge vibes, or maybe you could say modern farm. So what I'm getting at here is, I think I recall reading that some people would say that to be modern and to stay within a modern aesthetic is a little bit more strict in comparison to some of the other design aesthetics, because in order to be considered modern, you really do have to have those clean, straight lines. So perhaps, and I'm just guessing here. This is me guessing because this is ridiculous. So I'm just guessing that maybe Frozen District is believing that, and maybe they've set it up so every single buyer that they have that is strict or has a strict mood tag, it requires only modern items, and that's why you're limited to that strict category, and that's why there's all clean line items in this category. If you do want to say that, because there's definitely items that aren't, but it's a guess to have it kind of make sense. Make sense of this, please. Someone make sense. Yeah, I just don't know. So then cozy. So let's take strict off and do just cozy. So now these are cozy items. And this is like a mid-century mod / bohemian. Even like almost like a I mean, you could do like a style home that has a little bit of like modern slash bohemian vibes. I feel like these items could work with that. But again, this is very limiting. So if someone says, hey, I want, like if one of the buyers wants a cozy style home, this is it. These are the only chairs that you could use in the room, in the rooms. This is it. If that's what the tag is, if that's what the buyer wants, they want cozy. Well, this is all you get to use for chairs. It's so limiting. This was my point. So that's mood. I mean, dare we look at neutral? I mean, neutral is like what, everything? I mean, neutral includes like the Gothic style stuff. We get like restaurant pieces in there. Interesting, interesting. Because if you're neutral, you know, you could use a restaurant booth. But if you're strict, I don't understand why this. So now we have details. We have ornate, simple, or ordinary. Because that's what every buyer wants to hear. That's what every buyer is looking for. I'm looking for an ordinary home. Just give me the everyday run-of-the-mill. Hold on, did I leave? Okay, so these are the ordinary. Am I like really filtered right now by this ordinary thing? Ordinary, except one filter, ordinary. This is ordinary. This crazy double door, which by the way, I think came with the Scooby-Doo pack. So did this door. This vibrant, colorful door is in the ordinary category. Am I just like, maybe I don't understand. Perhaps I'm ignorant to some design terminology that I just don't have access to in my brain right now, because like I just don't understand. I truly don't. And again, maybe I am wrong. And feel free to put in the comments and explain. I mean, like, again, I'm not an expert, but when I think about ordinary, I think about an item that maybe it's not a designer brand. Maybe it's something that you can purchase retail that still could have really good quality, but focuses more on functionality as opposed to a specific design aesthetic that could maybe look, instead of being custom and designer, as more ordinary. But even if Frozen District was following that type of practical, common sense mentality, it still wouldn't make sense why this door is included in it. 0 sense whatsoever. Yeah, even looking at this door, like I was saying, like if you were to remove the colors, these vibrant, bold, primary colors from this door, which in combination with the shapes gives it this very almost like modern, like artsy vibe. Let's just say you were to change it to more of an ordinary color, and you were to change this door to a more ordinary color, you would still have these like shapes within them, which still give them a not so ordinary look to them. It still wouldn't make any sense. I mean, one could argue potentially that what Frozen District is doing is they're trying to create a little bit of cushion here. And they're saying, look, maybe these doors wouldn't perfectly or strictly fit into this category of ordinary. Or maybe this couch wouldn't fit strictly into this other category, but we're going to go ahead and allow you to utilize them because they could potentially fit if you change them up a certain way in these categories enough to let you use them. And if that's the case, I appreciate it because not only do I enjoy blending styles and having that little bit of leeway so that if something looks like it can fit in a category, you can get away with it. Because also overall, we don't necessarily have a whole lot of items in this game right now to work with. But and it does seem that there's some categories that are more limited and strict than other categories are. So that seems a little bit inconsistent if that's their thought process. But I think the reason why this is standing out so glaringly to me right now with this is because I think it speaks to my overall concern and my overall point and question of, is the way they set up this buyer system really the best way to implement this? I mean, ornate, I think is ornate is self-explanatory. Does it apply to like the accessories? I suppose it would make sense to me if it did, but apparently this laundry basket's ornate, probably because it has this like these details on it that maybe you would get back in the day. Long ago. See, this to me, this says this is the Future brand or Futuro or whatever. And this looks very modern to me. This doesn't look ornate. This statue, I guess, makes sense. This crane statue makes sense as being in ornate as well. I think that checks out. That adds out. That math is mathing. Yay! Something makes sense. What? Maybe they put this, even though it does look modern, in here because it has these like gold finishes. Because, ornate is known for having all those like detailed custom finishes. Maybe something with some gold leaf on it or things of that nature. Certain, like special custom accents. The Captain Barnacle mask, however, sure. I'm just gonna skip that altogether. Like this toilet paper holder, that makes sense. These plates with the gold details. Okay. Sure. Value, affordable, high-end, and mid-range. Okay. So this lamp is $183. I don't know. What's affordable in this economy? In the economy of House Flipper 2, what is considered affordable? So like, for instance, this is storage section. These are our affordable options. I'm going to clear this filter and I'm going to go to high end. Oh, wait. Let me take off affordable and stick with just high end. So now we have items that are in the thousands. We have okay, so does that mean a buyer is going to require affordable items? I feel like the buyers should just have budgets. I suppose it's a way to force you to work within a budget if they tag it or have a buyer who has a requirement as going with affordable items, because then it's forcing you to work within a budget without them creating a budget or having to create a budget for the buyers. It's like a workaround in a way for them for not setting a buyer budget. And maybe it makes it more fun. Like, look, I don't have any problem with the buyers having requirements because it's part of the challenge, right? Sometimes it's fun to have challenges, and I get that. The thing that I don't necessarily like either about having a filter for value is because you can have an overall budget that lets you work within that budget total. So you could potentially in the real world have like some items that you buy that are more affordable or less expensive items, right? And then every now and then you pick these specific pieces that are just more expensive, but you just want to have them, and it just makes it, and it's just awesome. And you're kind of combining that designer custom with the more affordable, but like you have that budget to work with to buy some things that you might want to spend a little bit more money on, but then you save money in another category. Like maybe you get that standard basic paint that's a little bit less expensive, or maybe you found a couple special, you found some tiles that were on sale and you save some money on the budget there. And then you splurge on these other amazing pieces that you just want so badly because they're just so awesome. So again, overall budget for me would work much better than these tags. So, yeah. And the style is very concerning. It's very limited. We have contemporary, futuristic, which there's an overlap. Whatever. I mean, there is a little bit of an overlap there between contemporary and futuristic. Obviously, it's not the same thing, but there is overlap there. And I feel like certain items that are in the contemporary that are like seem contemporary could work in a futuristic style home so that you have more options to blend and work with more items. But it's not going to allow that apparently, depending. I don't know. And then you have retro and you have traditional. There's no mid-century mod. There's no, bohemian style. This is so lacking. And it could be they feel like this is all they can do for styles based on the items that they have available in the game. But that's not true. They're even limiting themselves right here. Like if I go to retro, just out of curiosity, and just one more look at this, and then I'm going to move on because it's tiring. So this is retro. I mean, this bar stool makes sense. That definitely has retro vibes. That looks like it belongs in a diner. Extravaganza! Okay. This bench is, yeah, okay. Oh, hold on. So I also just realized in their announcement, the example for tags that they gave were cozy and ornate or futuristic and simple. So futuristic and simple, okay, that totally adds up. But cozy and ornate sounds like, I don't know. That sounds like an oxymoron to me. Just totally contradictive. I can't picture myself sitting in a living room that one would consider having an ornate aesthetic and being like, oh my gosh, I feel so cozy right now. Like, but maybe that would make it an interesting buyer and an interesting challenge. I don't know. So I'm just curious, real super quick, because again, I'm just like, annoyed by all this. So this is cozy and then ornate. But none of that is a style, by the way. Cozy's a mood and ornate is a detail. What about the style? Okay, whatever. So if I hit accept there, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Maybe buyers don't know what their style is. Maybe they just like use just descriptive words and you have to like figure it out. Okay, what does this person mean by this? This is cozy and ornate. I want to go back to the seating because I remember looking at the seating and being like, this is all you get for cozy. What if someone has multiple tags? What do we got? So now we have cozy and ornate, and this is what we have here. So these are all the items that have both cozy and ornate tags, or are these all the items that have cozy and or ornate? Let's find out. So I'm looking at all of the seats for cozy and ornate. Let's take off ornate. No, you have a bunch more cozy. Okay, interesting. So does that mean that if a buyer is tagged or programmed or whatever, wants cozy and ornate, you can't use all cozy stuff and all ornate stuff and pick and choose and have like a blend to create an overall aesthetic, which I feel like I would want to do, but that's just me. You have to use only the items that are tagged as cozy and ornate at the same time, both of them. So again, very limiting. Okay, so moving on from that, now let's go back and take a look at our list here. It says experimental motion sickness help found in settings/game play. We have crosshair customization, which includes size, color, and type. Third person perspective mode, and motion blur is off by default. Okay, so let's take a peek back at the game here, and I'm going to go back in the shop. No, I'm not. I am not going to do that. I was lying. I'm going to go to settings. I'm going to go to gameplay. And I'm just going to take a peek and see here. These are our experimental features. We have crosshair options. I mean, you can choose this crosshair if you want to look like you're about to shoot a bow and arrow at something. It's very crosshair-ish. Crosshair. You can change the color. For instance, if you wanted blue, this is my, maybe I like blue, but I don't know. This is my office, by the way. I didn't finish it, as you can see. The shelves are very empty. I'm minimalist, what can I say? Okay, so if you go to settings, again, you can change the color. I'm going to change it back to white. But you can change the size. For instance, this is what large looks like. It is pretty big. Large. And I think I'm going to keep mine what it was for now. And then we have views. We have a third person close view, which I don't know. It's just weird. But if someone wants or needs that, I'm happy for you. I mean, genuinely. Third person far. Whoa, man. Oh my gosh, like I can't even walk around like this. It's so trippy. What is happening right now? Oh no. Because it's, no. I can't. Oh. Okay, get me out of this nightmarish situation. And let's just go back. Let's go back, please. First person. Okay. But yeah, I mean, if someone wants those, That's cool. They're there for you. Okay, moving on. Let's go to our Steam announcement here. Okay, so before and after now has 3 settings: ultra, on, and off. The default is on. Your graphics settings. If photos seem worse quality than before, please try out ultra. Okay, that's pretty self-explanatory. You go into settings, you check out your before and after, so you can have better quality images. That's fun. That's cool. I mean, looks like they've improved on the quality of the images, which means it's going to take up more space. So that's another thing to consider. Like, you might want better quality images, but it might be a larger save file if that's important to you. I take my own screenshots, honestly, from before and afters, so I don't really use that. But if you do, that's there. Phone calls have their own slider in the settings/sound tab. So apparently some people or somebody, Frozen District or people, no, this looks like this was based off feedback from players. So I guess players felt like the phone calls were too loud or too soft. So they gave us the option to change the volume on that. And then roof building improvements. Okay, here we go. Now we're getting into the good stuff. So this is what's intriguing to me, or one of the more intriguing things. So roof building improvements. Building now takes 3 clicks instead of 2 and is more precise. So when we used to build roofs, you would do 1 click and then you would just do another click at wherever the end of the roof was going to be. So you applied click to apply the roof, and then your second click was at the end of the roof, or for the end of the roof. But this is saying it takes 3 clicks now instead of 2. So it's a more precise way of doing it. You can build another roof without exiting fly mode. Okay, cool. Flying to build or edit a roof should be less confusing. Added tips how to fly, auto fly height is lowered, etc. Exiting from flying drops you directly below where you were, so you can easily edit the roof again. Handy. Because I don't know about you, I don't want to be dropped off on the other end of the lot. I mean, new roof profiles and roof bend settings, which let you make East Asian roofs, domes, and more! Exclamation. New roof bend settings. Okay, so this is interesting. I'm intrigued. I'm excited. I'm actually excited. So let's go into the game. Okay, so I am in sandbox mode here, and I just have a little test home. So we can take a look at the new roof improvements. So let me just pause that for a second, because they are promising roof building now takes 3 clicks instead of 2. I'm going to go to build roof, and we're going to build a roof. Let's do this. Let's build a roof. All right, so right off the bat, this doesn't feel easier. I'm trying to figure out where I'm placing this roof right now. And it still feels weird. And really? Okay. So anyway, we're just going to build the roof into the wall right now. Hold on. What? Why does this feel harder? This actually feels harder to me. Because it's not going on top of the wall. Can you imagine, like, a strict Sims 4 player? And I don't really want to talk Sims 4 because of the pending sale. But I'm just saying, can you imagine someone going from there to here because they're trying to broaden their horizons, and this is this is how they build roofs? We'd lose them. We'd lose them in like seconds. They'd be like, ah. So I'm going to stop here. Go to resize. Okay, so I'm in resize mode. And now there's these square-like, which the square-like things function just like the arrows used to, but maybe it's less confusing for somebody because it looks like a square on the end. I don't know why. And then... Okay, I don't know. Okay. So when I hover over this, it's disappearing. It's an anomaly. I don't know why that... It's like running away from me. It's afraid. Don't be afraid, little arrow. So if I click this arrow, the one that looks like it's used to like turn the roof, like turn it to the side, it doesn't, nothing's happening. Interesting, interesting. I can move the roof. I can make the roof bigger on the top, like we've done in the past. It's just a different, it looks like a triangle now. And when you, even though I'm in resize, that's not resizing the roof down. It's actually moving the roof down. So when maybe that's why it looks like an arrow still and the other ones don't. Okay. And so that's resizing it. Obviously, move means move it. So this is going to move it to the side or move it back. Okay, that makes sense. Let's move it back. Moving it up and down. So that works. I mean, this all is so far everything we were able to do before. Maybe we're able to do more in sandbox mode. Well, not sandbox mode, in story mode, which I'll check. But right now, this pretty much seems the same, except for when you're in resize, there's no arrows anymore. So hopefully it makes it less confusing to people. Whenever you see an arrow, that means you're actually moving it somewhere. When you see the little square on the end, it means you're resizing it. So this square now means I'm going to resize the roof. Okay, so we've established that. We've also established in the resize mode, the arrows, for some reason, it's still showing from time to time, dependent on your distance from the roof. It's still showing the arrows, like you can move it, like turn it, but that doesn't work. And you can move it downward for some reason while you're in resize. Which is okay. A bonus, I guess. It's a resize bonus. And then you can resize it. And then when you're in move, that's when everything is an arrow because now you're moving it. Oddly enough, for some reason, when you're in the move category, the side-by-side turning of the roof doesn't have arrows. And I don't know why. But you can still kind of like move it around like this, which honestly is still really annoying to do. And you can move it up and down like this. Like if you wanted to be like, hey, I'm in a crazy land and my roofs are vertical. You can do that. And you can move it this way too. So this is pretty much everything I think we were able to do before. It just has different indicators depending on how you're transforming the item on the transform tool. I just want to see something. If I go to like my architect tool and I go to change style. So the roof types are still all the same. This is the new standing seam roof that they were advising us about. Profile, straight bend in. Okay, now we're doing some new stuff. Whoa. Hold on, hold on. Let's just go back to a gable roof for a second. Oh, okay. We've bent in the roof. Okay, so hold on. I'm curious. I just bent the roof. Now, if I use the resize tool, you can't, like that will just make it bigger on the end. Like it extends it outward, but you can't change the percentage in which the roof is bent. I mean, really? Really? Because it should have, and like, look, I get it. I'm being demanding. Frozen District gave us some new roof customization options. They have made it a little bit easier to understand based on the imagery or the tool that you can click on, I suppose. And they allowed us to bend the roof, but you can't customize how much of a bend it has, which, I mean, I'm looking at this gable roof right now, and maybe I just need more time to play around with it. It's very possible. Like, maybe I can just like, so I just increased the size of the top, and you can't still have it bent when the roof is bigger. So I just made the roof bigger on the top, and it undid the bend. What? So hold on. If I go back to the architect tool and I click on change size, I can't bend it now. I mean, not change size, change style. I can't bend the roof anymore because the roof is bigger? What the heck is that? I'm sorry. I'm annoyed. I mean, this is just the beginning. I'm trying to be fair. They're working to implement things that people are asking for. When you looked at the survey, so Frozen District issued a survey, which somehow I missed. I didn't get to participate in the survey. But they showed the results of the survey, and there was a very high number of people who wanted improvements to roof building. And they're trying to give us that, and I do appreciate it. But this just isn't cutting it, in my opinion. I'm sorry. There's more work to be done here. Okay. So I'm at the roof pitch. Once I hit a pitch of 12, then I can bend the roof. Oh, there is a way to decrease and increase the bend. Maybe, if people still say that. Okay. Maybe it's hold on. Let me just try something. Let me change. So this is the new roof style material. What if we do like wooden roof shingles? Maybe it will look better. Not really. And it's usually like a gable style roof that you're going to bend. You're not going to really bend like these other things, really. I mean, it depends on where you are on the house. Maybe you can put like pieces together and piece something into something. If that makes sense. But I'm going to go back to the gable roof because this is probably like the gable roof is probably kind of like where you're going to start off. Like if you want to create that type of vibe, I mean, that's where I would start. So you can bend 4. I'm just going to move myself over for a second. So I'll show you. This is bend 1, 2, 3, and 4. I mean, I'm glad, but why can't I just have like an arrow that lets me control how much it's bent? So that's bent in. That's straight, obviously. Bend out. All right, so what if I bend? Can I bend out and bend in? I know that sounds weird, but like let's say I put it on a bend out at 2, and then can I go to bend in? No, obviously. So you can't overlap profiles, because I was like, maybe I can like, you know, finagle something. Bend out. I mean, that's cute. That's kind of like barn vibes or like cottage vibes. The fact that you can't control the pitch, I mean, you can't make it bigger, like taller? Like, let's just say I'm creating like a super witchy looking like cottage of sorts, and I want those like long roofs that are like bent in and like, you know, that type of vibe. It's not, you can't. What just happened? Oh, because I went to place, I clicked on it and moved it. I didn't think you can move it like that. I forgot. Because I thought you had to use the move tool. I don't know. That was weird for some reason. Yeah. I don't know. Look, it's options. It's more options than we had before. So again, I appreciate that. I appreciate the effort. I appreciate the acknowledgement of what players are asking for. And I appreciate the work. I just very much believe that there's a lot more room to grow here and to improve. So as constructive criticism, we have room to grow with the roof tool. In terms of new mats, this is the new roof mat that they were referring to. If you wanted to do different colors, oops. Has like a sheen to it, like it's like metallic. Okay. So that's the new roof stuff. There was something else though. There was, oh, because when I make the pitch go down, when I bring the pitch back down to 12, there's another profile called East Asian. So we're getting some free aspects from the game, from the DLC, and it automatically begins bend mode. They created this to go hand in hand with the DLC pack, which makes a little bit more sense why it's so controlled, right? Because it was like, we need this style roof for it to make sense in terms of Japanese architecture. Okay. Okay. I'm going to sell that roof though, because I'm a little annoyed overall with that. But room to grow, room to grow. Something to look forward to. Okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and stop there, and this will conclude part 1 of the free Buyer 2.0 update for House Flipper 2 review. And next video in part 2, we will go ahead and continue on looking at Frozen District's announcement and these changes in game. If you did happen to enjoy this video, please kindly hit the like and subscribe buttons. I really do hope to start building some new friends here as I continue on in this YouTube journey that I have jumped into. So I hope to see you all soon, but until then, take care.